Hi viewers, greetings from Credo Legal Syndicates. If you are new to this channel, our aim is to educate you on various laws which you encounter on a daily basis. In our previous videos, we talked about prevention of money laundering, the introductory part, and also on placement. So we said very clearly placement, how the money is getting parked or placed into your banking system or financial system. In this video, we are going to talk about layering, the second stage of money laundering. Just to remind people, this video is also available in Tamil. So those who would like to watch in Tamil, they can choose and watch the Tamil video. Right. What is layering? By the meaning itself, layering is cover up. So, in the money laundering context, the money which is getting covered up or making the origin of the money so difficult to detect by the anti-money laundering authorities, and also in the process using the legitimate way of doing the business. So in the first place, when the money is brought into the system, the money is getting invested into the business. Obviously it is not getting invested in their own name, it is getting invested in some other's name. Like it may be a servant, it may be a relative, it may be a friend or anyone else. So it is ideally like a Binami transaction. So they would open businesses in some other's name. As we said in the last video, they open multiple bank accounts, multiple businesses and multiple bank accounts to cover up the origin of the money. Right. Once a business is started in some other's name, will they claim ownership? No. Legally, it is not theirs. Even though they have earned it illegally, even though they claim it's their money, legally they cannot hold any ownership on that because it is now run by somebody else. So what they would do? They would obviously enter into a partnership after a certain period of time. In the pretext of running the business or developing the business, they would continue in the business for more time and they would make the other partner exit for obvious reasons. Now the money is fully owned by the person who earned it illegally. What happens in these business transactions? Where is the layering coming here? Let's go a bit into deep. As we talked in previous videos, we said they would go for multiple transactions, right? So what are the possible things that could happen in these type of business transactions? Mainly bank transfers. One bank account to another bank account, between accounts in the same bank, transfer from one country to another country if business is run overseas, and some of the cash even generated during the business, they also would convert that into financial instrument like money order, stocks, policies, etc. And they would open a lot of shell companies. Shell means what? Again, the meaning it says, it is an empty. It is inside. If you look at that shell, there's nothing. So it is a company with no business transactions. Then why there is a company? So people do open the company as part of Companies Act. They do all the compliances, returns and everything, and maintain the company just for the sake of maintaining a normal company. if there is no business transactions, then what they would file return as? So what they would do, they will use these kind of shell companies for these legal transactions. So the money which is earned in the businesses, they will transfer to these shell companies, and from these shell companies to another company, and from another company back to the same company, in the pretext of doing some business. Now you know the circling route, how it comes from one account to another account. This is how they create multiple layers for the same money, so that even when they are caught, the origin is very difficult to be found. So they do all these things only to create layers, and this is called layering. Right. When they do that, will anti-money laundering authorities not know all this? Obviously they know all this. See, when these people do certain strategies, anti-money laundering authorities also do some other strategies. What they would do, how they find out whether it is really a suspected money or not? By finding frequent transactions. See, normally, suppose you are running or creating a transaction for say 5,000 rupees, and if you are creating a multiples of 5,000 rupee transactions, obviously it will be a suspicious one. Similarly, multiple transfers, frequent transfers from one account to another account, one bank account to another bank account, one account to another account in the same institution, that also would create a suspicion. The third one is the speed with which the money is getting deposited and money is withdrawn. With this also they would find out how the layering happens. As we said, if people earn a very big volume of money, they always would go for multiple layers. We all know earlier people used to park the money in Swiss accounts. Now the government is very serious in taking the money out of the Swiss bank accounts and to get to know the sources. So they would switch over to some other country which are safe haven for investments and to park the money, say like Mauritius or some other country. So what you will do, you would obviously either use Hawala transaction to bring the whole money here and then do businesses here to convert that into white money, or straight away enter into an agreement with a person with whom the money is kept. So entering into an agreement with that person or with that company to supply either some goods or services, any kind of services. Nowadays, no, anything is getting taught online or anything is getting done in the pretext of service. So they would create some kind of a service agreement, and as if they provide service to the other country or the other company or other person, and for that the other company sends money from that country to this country. How that money travels? In the legal channel. It's not like Hawala. Okay, either you bring it in Hawala without doing anything else, otherwise enter into an agreement, do it in a legitimate way. So what they would do, they would bring the money through legal channel by disclosing all the information like what they have an agreement. So it becomes an export. And is GST applicable? Yes, GST is applicable. So they would also pay GST and they would benefit from all the export and GST rebates. So they bring the money to this country and that money has become white because they paid all the statutory duties and taxes. So these are the ways they do transact to create layers and make it white. Recently, you would have heard the Ministry of Company Affairs ordered closure of thousands of shell companies. Why they have done that? Basically because those shell companies are widely used for these kind of suspicious transactions. So by closure of those shell companies, obviously people would not venture into that route. It is not only this country, countries which are affected by this kind of money laundering, they also come together, join together to create a covenant to prevent such money laundering. So what they do as part of this, they do share a lot of information between countries. With that, they try to trace all these kind of transactions and prevent money laundering. In our next video, we will talk about post layering, which is integration. If you're not subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe by clicking the subscribe button. Also, please click the bell button so that you get the notification of our all future videos. Share the link of this video to your friends and relatives. See you in our next video. Until then, goodbye.